Welcome to Off the Bottom Rope. David Todd with GV Wire here with WWE Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Gunther, you are the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. How important is that record to you?
Well, it's a great accomplishment. I think it's a once in a lifetime achievement. But as of right now, I'm still a champion and I need to be focused on that. And I think once it's all said and done, I can fully enjoy it.
Were you ever a fan of the Honky Tonk Man? Did you ever worry that when you broke the record, he may bash his guitar on you to keep it?
No, neither. I was never a fan and never had that worry.
So, how would you describe your wrestling style?
um, I guess it's very down to earth, I would say, and very logical and very efficient. I think that's the best way to describe it. I was never worried about what could I do to that's spectacular. What could I do that's like get people off their feet? I always try to be convincing in what I do and look at my body and realize I have long legs and I have long limbs and in general, and I need how do I use that the most efficient way, and that's how I always approached it. Yeah, so I would say it's simple and effective.
They call you the Ring General. And I noticed that you don't have too much, high flying off the top rope offense. You're definitely kind of like what they call a ground and pound guy. A lot of, lots of chops. Is that a purpose decision? Not to do the aerials, not to do planches, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, of course, because it's not my nature. I'm like it's just not what my body composition, like how I look like. That's not what I'm made for. I think that like I'm pretty tall. I think that's something usually uh, performers do with less height than me. And like I said, I don't know, I never approached it that way. But it's like, what could I do from the top rope? I'm using a big splash off the top rope because I think it makes sense for me. I'm a heavy guy. Um, but besides from that, I just always focused on doing the stuff that's efficient and makes sense for me.
Now, chops are a big part of your offensive resume. I mean, it's hard to go through a Gunther match with both your chests are kind of black and blue and red. Who was the best chopper you've ever seen in pro wrestling?
Yeah, me,
Okay, who's
obviously.
who's number two?
I gotta say, recently I was very surprised when I entered the Royal Rumble and I got to work and I turn around and Dom just stood in front of me and whacked me with a big overhand chop that split my chest open from the right away. I was very impressed by that. I have to say, I didn't see that coming. So I give it to him in the recent past.
All right, for me, all time, it's Greg Valentine, number one chopper. Do you think your style could fit in with a 1980s WWF or even a 1960s pro wrestling style?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think I could have adapted in every area or every style. I think that's one of my qualities that I can get in the ring with anybody. Doesn't matter their background, doesn't matter their style of wrestling, and I can yeah adapt in a way to make it an exciting match.
Now, of course, with like any athletics, pro wrestling, you're always susceptible to injuries. How do you train? How do you keep yourself physically fit and to avoid injuries? What's your pre-match routine to keep yourself safe?
It's not really like a pre-match routine. I think a lot of guys that made the mistake in the past that they were solely focusing on like a bodybuilding type of workout, which I do as well. But I always focused. I always used a lot of like body weight movements too, like regular push-ups or body weight squats, different push-up variations and stuff like that that keep that stretch your body as well, that keeps your body mobile. That's something I when I trained in Japan early in my career
So traditional
learned.
calisthenics, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, and I just learned it like when I started training in Japan, and I just took that with me throughout my career. I don't do it to the extent like they do it over there because the volumes they use is crazy. Like I can't keep up with that. And just in general, like I said, I always used a wrestling style that is I knew I could do and I knew I could do safely, and I never really go into waters where I know I don't feel comfortable with that just for a pop or something like that. And so far I've been successful with it. Like I've never really been injured. Like I tore my meniscus once and there was a quick fix. And besides from that, besides from the smaller stuff like a cut here and there or something like that, or bruises, I've been really fortunate.
Now we've talked about your in-ring style, but your character, you're stoic, you're almost emotionless. And is it me, or is there kind of a tinge of a little Cold War? You're from Austria. Uh, maybe a little Cold War action going on here with you.
Uh, no, not really. I think it's like mostly when Kaiser and I started, like the character I have now is the same I did back in Germany. Um, it was more influenced by those like old school wrestlers back in Germany during the tournament times. It was a time where Kaiser's father used to wrestle, Axel Dieter Senior, and so we have a lot of like I got to know him as well, and obviously through Ludwig, I know a lot of the stories, and we know a lot of details from that. And there was like a time when one of the promoters in Vienna, like his rule was every wrestler has to be in trunks, and they gotta wear black boots, and they gotta have white laces. It was just the uniform, and we kind of like to a lot of those antics from back then. We kind of like found a liking in that, and felt like it's a good character to go with because we can, yeah, we naturally like it, so we can embrace it, and especially in a time where everybody yeah, tries to be flashy, tries to be stand out. Is it with their outfit? Is it with their in-ring style? I always thought it's a yeah, breath of fresh air to be the opposite, to be the yeah, be the complete opposite of that. Don't be colorful. Don't go over the top with your character. Do basic in ring action, and that's where it's mostly based on. Obviously, like ring general, I know a lot of people connected with military aspects, but I have no military background or anything. It's like ring general is obviously a term that is like used in wrestling for somebody that is in control when he's in the ring. And that was the reason why I picked that name. Some of my colleagues back then actually just referred to me as a ring general, and years ago in Germany, and then I just thought it was cool, took it, and we turned it into a character.
So, Gunther, why don't you describe the day in the life of a wrestler? Let's go. Saturday night, you're going to be in Oakland, and then Friday or Sunday night, you're wrestling here in Fresno. So, take me. You wrestle in Oakland. Then what happens the next 24 hours to get to Fresno?
So today I pack my bags somewhat through the day, go to the barber, get a workout in, and then tomorrow morning we fly over and then arrive, go to the gym, go to the venue, um, do my match, and then get in the car again. And then we're actually gonna drive to Fresno and stay in a hotel there, and then wake up in the morning and repeat. That's basically what it is. It's a very tight, tacted schedule, um, but it's the life of a wrestler, and that's what I always wanted to do. And I enjoy that lifestyle. It's especially I travel together with Kaiser. What have we've been doing this for years before WWE, and it's like that. It's great. I love the lifestyle. It's a great life, and very yeah grateful to be able to do all of it.
Now, you're a new father. It must be tough, being on the road. First of all, where are you flying in from? And then, what's it like having to leave your family every week?
Well, yeah, that's one of those things. That's the downside, and it's just the price to pay a little bit. But it's also the things like my wife, Ginny. She used to wrestle before, so she knows the business, and I got a great backup there. And it's obviously hard leaving the little one behind because you don't want to miss anything. But on the other hand, I'm out there providing a great life for my family, and it's a sacrifice that you do now, and then the idea is that later on, you can live a life that nobody's able to live after you put the work in.
And where's your kind of American home base? Where you live?
Um, I live in Orlando now.
Atlanta, Florida. Okay. What
Yes.
would your WrestleMania season? We're here. What would your WrestleMania dream match be? Either this year or any. What would your dream scenario be for WrestleMania?
Um, obviously, I was always like I always was vocal about my dream match in the past, but that fell through now. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know if we see Brock again, if that's ever gonna happen. But I'm wide open when it comes to that as of now. I think I'm in a position where people need to chase me. Um, People want to challenge me for the championship. Um, and that's just the mindset I have when it comes to that right now. I'm not really stressed about who am I going to facing at WrestleMania now, or it's not really on my mind.
Well,
Because
let's focus on this weekend. You got Chad Gable in Oakland. You got Chad Gable in Fresno. What can the Fresno fans expect between you and Chad Gable?
the best match of the night, I guarantee that. I think every time I get in the ring with Chad, it's a very special occasion. He's a like former Olympian, maybe one of the best athletes or the best athlete we have in the company right now. We're very skilled wrestler. Um, and all the matches had all the matches we had so far, doesn't matter where, have been really good, a really good experience for the audience, especially. And it's a challenge every time, even though he is like way lighter than I am, and we have two different body types. It's hard to catch up with him when it comes to speed and pace, and it's always a challenge, definitely. And yeah, and it's going to be a challenge this weekend as well.
All right, Gunther, hey, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck. We'll see you in Fresno.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.